Okay, so I believe I have finalized the EFI fix on the MacBook. I've got a way to completely disable and run completely off of Intel graphics independently from the AMD chip, and as of right now it's pretty stable, except it running at 94 degrees Celsius, so that's pretty normal for this computer. That's why they die. But this it seems like it's going to be stable just running on the Intel graphics, and I'll show you guys what I did to achieve this. So yesterday it was working. Lynn, yes, I did get your email and you were right. It did have a sensor issue because I left the camera unplugged on by mistake, but it's still running at it's still running at 91 Celsius, so the fans are going to be pretty high. So running like this, like yesterday, it was working. It would boot off the Intel graphics chip, and it would work most of the time off of Intel graphics in OS X, but occasionally it would want to switch to the AMD chip. Every once in a while it would screw up, and that's what I have fixed today. So basically what I did was I had to go through and delete the AMD drivers, and to do so on Sierra I had to shut off some security setting. I don't know exactly what it's called. That would allow you to edit the file system. So I removed all the AMD drivers, reprogrammed the EFI again, and it is working. And even if I try and force it onto the dedicated chip, it will not allow it. So basically, what you're doing in EFI is you're programming it to not allow, based on power preferences, the computer to run off the AMD chip. So you're forcing it to only select the Intel chip to boot up, and what to do if the Intel 3000 dies over. Yeah, but that's a chance you're willing to take. The Intel 3000 is probably not going to die. Intel 3000 32 nanometer Sandy Bridge is pretty reliable. Haven't really had iGPU issues except on Broadwell. So I'm going to show you guys exactly what I did. Certain things aren't going to work. External display is not going to work because that's wired directly to the AMD chip. But a lot of what people were saying was, if you do find a way to force it onto the Intel graphics by removing the drivers, won't have any video acceleration. It'll become slow, which, you know, that's true if you just remove the AMD drivers, but this is completely running on this. It was dead when I got it. Had a dead GPU and it's running fine. So Lynn, you have a 2010, that would be a dead MCP89. That would pull down, with those chips it'll pull down PP3 too, so that's not good. So basically, let me find real quick. Let me find my own email. Let's see what temps are. 95, the thing 96, 94, this thing's gonna shut down. Nah, it's an Apple, I don't care. So this is how you're gonna be able to disable the GPU. You're gonna have to create a Arch Linux bootable USB drive, and I'll give you guys this link. And then what I did first was remove the drivers first, and you're going to have to just skip this. I did it on a Windows, my ThinkPad. So you're going to boot to the Arch Linux drive, and then you're going to type you know, just what it says here, and set a new power preference, remove the old power preference, and set it to run only on the graphics chip. This is going to do it by setting a new, like I said before, setting a new power preference to only select the Intel chip and not the AMD chip. So once you do this, it will boot on the Intel chip. However, once you get into OS X, it will want to switch back to the AMD chip. So that next, how you're going to have to fix this is, let's say if you already have booted it, you're going to have to redo this again. So now you're going to have to go through and delete the AMD driver files. And this, I could not do it in terminal. It would not let me in recovery, so I actually did do it in single user mode. It said here not to do it in single user mode, but I did it without any issues. What you're going to want to do is delete the AMD files, and on a newer operating system you will have to disable a security feature. Let me find out what that's called. I don't know the exact name of it. I'm horrible with software. What is this called? I remember I don't remember the exact name of what this command is. System integrity protection. So you're going to have to disable system integrity protection in the terminal in recovery. So and by doing so, there's commands right here. So this was wrong. I did it a different way. He's running hot 96, 95. I don't know, 96, what do you guys think? 96 pretty normal for this? Or I think probably around 93 would be. 96 seems to be getting a little bit hot. But then again, it's an Apple. So you have to disable system integrity protection. And I did this through, let me find the exact website that I used it from. So you're going to boot into, let me make sure you guys can see my screen. So you're going to boot into recovery mode by holding Command and R, and then open terminal on when you're in recovery mode, and then you're going to enter these commands you see right here, and through doing this you'll be able to disable the Amd drivers. So through this there's some processes online you guys can look. Let me find it again. You're going to disable all the Amd drivers, boot back into the operating system, make sure you can see your screen. It's going to run horrible, that's fine. Then you're going to shut it down and then reprogram EFI, and you're going to do this to a bootable Arch Linux CD. So let me find these commands to shut off. And in this one article, it says you do not have to remove the drivers after you reprogram EFI, but that is not true. I found that if you don't disable the drivers, it will switch right back to the discrete chip in OS X. So you're going to boot into single user mode, then enter these commands right here, and then after this, continue on in this article. You guys can look at this. It's pretty easy to find. Then scroll down and follow the instructions right here. And after you do these both things, it should work on the Intel chip only and completely bypass the AMD chip. It won't even attempt to use it. Yeah, 96 is on the hot side. And here's the thing. Let me show you guys something. Watch these temps drop. So let me close OBS. So watch these temps drop when I take the bottom cover off. So look at this. I don't have all the screws in it, so nowhere near as all the screws in it, because to install OS X I had to refill the GPU like 3 times every 20 minutes because it would die. So that's what it took for me to get an operating system on this, is to refill the graphics chip every 20 minutes to get it to work. Usually when you refill them, they'll work for a few days at least. In this case though, it didn't work at all. I had to refill it every 20 minutes or else it would hang in the install. So finally, after I did that, I was able to boot in the operating system and apply this fix. So you watch how these temps drop. I'm going to pull it back. I'm going to take the bottom cover off, and you'll see how quick these temps drop. So look, with the bottom cover off, I might cut a hole in the bottom cover. So look at this. With the bottom cover off, 82 with the bottom cover off. That's a 10-degree reduction in temperature. That's incredible. 80, 78, 79. So that's with the bottom cover off. You guys can see what an improvement that is. You fixed what? Yes, I did. A true repair tech never has screws in their personal devices. Just think, yeah. Well, the thing is, this kept falling off, so I put 4 screws in it. But the entire time I had the bottom cover off. So look at this. Streaming. The fans are quiet now, and it's running at 79 with the bottom cover off. So I'm thinking what I can do is put a hole right here to give the fans more air, and then put some kind of mesh in there. Could get some at the hardware store to keep it cool, because that's ridiculous. That's a 10-degree reduction, 15-degree reduction with just the bottom off. Because the fans are barely running now. They're smooth. They're really quiet. So it's pretty stable, as you guys can see, like last night and today, and it hasn't wanted to switch off a discrete. Even if I try and select discrete, it will not let me. It will not switch off of integrated, which is good. So it says it can't switch to integrated while Chrome is running, but this I right here means it's running on integrated graphics. And so far this has been stable. So this is seems like it's a pretty viable fix as far as, if you don't care about running graphics intensive applications. It seems to be running just fine. This was completely dead. When I got it, it barely would work at all. I had to, like I said, I had to refill the chip pretty much every 20 minutes to get it to install OS X. And since doing that, it seems fine. And like what some people were saying is running on Intel, it'll be slow. It does not seem slow at all. It has graphic acceleration. There's no lag in it. Of course, if you load up a benchmark or something like this one program called Valley, it's not going to run well because it's Intel 3000. So pretty much I just want to do a short stream to show you guys that I finalized this fix, and it seems to be working pretty decently. And my next project is going to be cutting holes in the bottom of this to make it run cooler. That wouldn't be that hard. And just a mesh, file it down, and it should run pretty decent cool. And the thing is you have to look where does the fan get air from? It just sucks it through the cracks in the case. That's ridiculous. Again, planned obsolescence. Good thing is Intel chips don't tend to die. They tend to keep working. So on top of that, I pretty much covered what I want to cover. Just wanted to go over that and show you guys there is a way to disable the graphics chip. This is a 2011 15-inch. I thought it was a 17-inch, but it's a 15-inch with the dying AMD chips, and it seems to be working fine. And on top of that, I want to ask you guys, does everyone still agree that the stream is smoother running on this than it is on the ThinkPad? So that's what people were saying last night, is it seems smoother on this than it did on the ThinkPad. So, which in hi Miles, how are you? So I'm gonna put this bottom cover back on. I want to find a way to cut a hole or two holes. Shouldn't really be all that difficult. Just to increase airflow a little bit on both these fans. So I'm gonna mark this. Where the fans are, and then I might do this tonight. Other than, yeah, modifying the bottom case is not a fix for the end user, but it's a good fix for me. So I'm probably going to cut holes in this right now. Now the bottom cover is 15 bucks. You can't really no, there's no dust bunnies in this. I had the heatsink off. So Miles, what we just did was on this is modded EFI to disable the dead AMD chip, and it's been running fine again without the AMD chip. So but this temp reduction is just insane. You know, it's running way cooler without that bottom cover. The screen hinge. No, it's pretty clean inside. I don't see any dust. I had the board out. I had everything out yesterday. There doesn't appear to be any dust between the hinge and the heatsink. I see what you're saying. So no, it's just Apple's design. That's why these things die so often, is because of that design where it doesn't allow it to breathe. Yeah, exactly. In the code of the BIOS, and I don't know exactly if it was in the BIOS or configs for the BIOS, but it seems to be working. No, this isn't really an upgrade to the Windows laptop. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while, and I bought this for 40 bucks. And I just decided to I've been wanting to figure out a way to get these to run off of the Intel graphics for a while, and this is just a perfect opportunity. But this is by no means going to be my primary. ThinkPad will still always be my primary. One thing I did like on this is that this screen clarity is really nice for looking at schematics. So we're back up at 87 because I set it down, so if I put it back up this way, it'll cool better again. That's huge. That's that temp difference from the bottom cover being off. No, I don't know who at Apple decided this was a good idea to have no holes in the bottom cover. It's just stupid. So I'm hopefully gonna make two, then put some screen in there, make it look professional, and put it back in, and it'll run cool. but it's under pretty heavy load right now, so that smooth scroll even on a hacked iGPU. Exactly, it runs pretty great like this. Trying to think what else can we try that's somewhat graphics intensive. I've never really used a MacBook before, but we'll believe it or not, I mainly don't use I use Windows, and with customers' computer I start them, and once I see that they're booting, I'm usually done. So I'm holding it up like this so it stays cooler. Let's try and show some scrolling and look at a schematic. Come on, enough of this. This would be a pretty nice computer to put a SSD in it too, because right now it's running off of a old Toshiba hard drive that I usually run a ThinkPad T430. So let's open up a schematic, and this is the main thing that I liked about this. So I like the smoothness of the scrolling in the schematic, and of course now that it's loaded up, it's probably not going to be smooth at all, but we'll see. Now this only has 4 gigabytes of RAM too, so it's pretty, probably could use a So what I liked was the smoothness of the scrolling on, it just seemed really fluid when, scrolling and looking at schematics, even with the disabled graphics chip. And the clarity of the screen, I like. This is a, I think 1080p screen, so it's pretty decent. But so far no issues, I don't know if it's gonna die, probably not, but we'll see. So on top of this, I'll probably if I decide to do this tonight, I'll probably come back on later. If I decide to make holes in the bottom of this, it wouldn't be too hard to do at all. So I may be back later. So thank you all for watching, and hope this video helps you. Definitely other techs, if you can, try and test this out and see if it works. It took me a good solid 2 days to get it right, and that's following advice that I got online, or just following the instructions on the forum. So let me see. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you probably later.